Hello. Thank you for inviting me to this distinguished conference about a subject very close to my heart. Because I was born in Macedonia, what at that time was Yugoslavia, and I'm deeply saddened that the country of my birth is integrated. And according to the information I get from people on the street, it was better before. This integration is hurting everybody. And now the question that you assigned to me to deal with is, in general, what's holding developing countries from making the jump and becoming developed? What's holding them back? And specifically, what to do for the Balkan region. I'm not an expert, but I did work in 91 consulting to the Serbian government, Prime Minister at that time, Zelenovic. I did some work with Branko Crvenkovski for several years in Macedonia and with Kiro Gligorov. I consulted also to Mitsotakis in Greece. So maybe I have a comparison to make for the Balkan. And as far as developing countries in the world, yes, I work with several of them. So maybe I can share with you some insight that will help. A country is a system, an ecosystem. And every system, by definition, has subsystems that comprise the system, that make it a system. What I discovered is that the subsystems do not change in the same speed when there is change. Some change faster than others. Take a company, for instance, and then we'll look at a country. Marketing can change pretty fast. They look at the market, they say we need to change the products, they make a plan. Doesn't take too long to make a plan. How long does it take to change the sales effort, to re-educate the salesman, to re-educate the market? Wow. How long does it take to change the production system? Oh, it takes even longer. How long does it take to change the accounting system? We should live long enough. How long does it take to change the people, culture, attitudes, behavior? What happens? Because the subsystems do not change in the same speed, it creates gaps, cracks in the system. The system with change gets disintegrated. And that disintegration is manifested in what we call problems. Now, if you don't solve the problems and close the gaps, since change continues, the gaps become bigger and bigger until they become a crisis. So, what does it mean on a country level? You have the technological subsystem, the educational subsystem, the market subsystem, the legal subsystem, the social values subsystem. They don't change at the same speed. For instance, I believe that COVID has been here forever. Nothing is new. Unless the COVID was created in a lab. Assume it was not in a lab. It has been there. What happened now? I'll tell you what happened now in my judgment. Our body has moved and changed over a long period of time. It probably took us 1,000,000 years to lose our tail. We still have a tailbone. Took us God knows how long to stand straight. The body adapted to change at a certain speed. Today, modern times, the rate of change is accelerated like never in the history of mankind. The body could not adapt at the speed of the change. Food with chemicals, with genome re-engineering, stress at work, air dirty, water dirty. Tremendous changes. The body and our psyche cannot change at that speed. We're falling apart. We're suffering from diseases that mankind has never known before. The biggest mental disease in modern life is depression. Teenagers committing suicide. What's happening? Change. Incapability to adapt to change fast enough. So what do? We must learn how to manage change. And underdeveloped countries have not learned how to do that. That's why they're underdeveloped. And they will remain underdeveloped till they learn how to manage change correctly. And what does correctly mean? I'm trying in 20 minutes, 30 minutes to make a whole theory, which I have in 26 books and hundreds of videotapes summary. If you want to know more, please look at my books or my videos, which are in multiple languages. If disintegration caused by change is a source of all problems, whether in your marriage, in your company, or in a country, what is the solution? I talk about solution, not band-aids. Solution. If everything is caused by disintegration, what's the solution? Integration. What is the role of a leader of a country? To manage change without the country falling apart. What's the role of a leader of a family? To manage change without the family falling apart. What's the role of a leader of a company? Manage change without the company falling apart. And what is integration? To be healthy. The purpose of a leader of any system is to see to it that the system he or she manages is healthy. And if the company is healthy, if the country is healthy, it will develop in a balanced way and not falling apart. What is healthy? The system has to be effective, produce results in the most efficient way, now and in the future. For which there are 4 vitamins in my books, I won't get into it. If one of the vitamins, the vitamin P, quote unquote vitamin, makes the system effective, gets the job done. By the way, it's measurable, especially for the Balkan. Let me tell you how important it is for the Balkan. How do you know if a system is effective? Well, how do you know if a restaurant is effective? If it satisfies the needs of its clients. That's why it exists. That's what is called effective. A car is effective if it drives. A restaurant is effective if the people are happy with the food. Otherwise, it's not effective. How is it measured? Are the people coming back? A country where people look for a way to live versus a country where the people look for a chance to get in, tells you how effective the country is. Look at Russia, no Russia, Soviet Union. Getting into Soviet Union was easy. Trying to get out, you have to sacrifice your life, put your life on line. What does it tell you? People wanted to get out. They were willing to sacrifice their life to get out. The system is ineffective. Like a restaurant, nobody wants to go there to eat. America was, it's changing, still is. To get out, easy. Just the opposite of Soviet Union. You want to get out? Get out. To get in, oh. Tell me how many people want to join the country versus how many people want to leave the country, and I will tell you how effective the country is. If people want to live, it means that vitamin is not working, it means the system is sick. What makes it efficient? Law and order. Not reinventing things all the time. Nobody knows what's right, what's wrong. A mess. A disorganized bureaucracy. You need vitamin A, administration. Law and order. The judicial system is not corrupt. The legislation is clear. You don't have outdated laws that nobody knows why they exist anymore. What makes it changing to be effective in the future? The entrepreneurial spirit, innovation, new things, improvements. And what will make it efficient in the long run? When we work together. So no energy is being wasted on fighting each other. Now let's talk about developing countries and then about the Balkan, specifically. I'm claiming to you what's wrong with the developing countries is the following, which is different from China. Look at China. China was underdeveloped. And in few years, it's taking over the world. Not because they have 1.2 billion people. India has also a lot of people, but not catching up. There is a reason. Let me give you the reason. Look at the development of civilization. History. First we were chimpanzees, if you're Darwinian. The strongest chimpanzee was a leader. Then we were nomadic society. The best hunter was a leader. Then we became an agricultural society. The one with the most sheep and cows was a leader. What the common denominator? Muscle, strength, power. And that is basically the base of colonialism. The more land, the more mines we have, the stronger we are. More is better, more is better. Then came the industrial revolution. Muscle was not good enough. You needed brain to plan, to organize, to systematize, supply chain, budgets, hiring people, training people, brain. The industrial society was muscle with brain. Today, we live in a post-industrial society when the muscles are not so important. Brain. Look at the biggest companies in the stock market. One of the biggest, Uber. You need a car? Hello, Uber, come drive me. It's a taxi company. They don't own one taxi. Not one. The only thing that the company has is a computer and information. That's it. The biggest taxi company in the world. Not one taxi. Brain. The biggest hotel in the world does not own one hotel. Airbnb. What do they have? Computer, information. What is Amazon doing? Multi-billion dollars company. Information. Facebook, information. Amazon, Google, information. Data, capability to manage data. That is today. Brain. By the way, look at Israel. What does Israel have? 63% of Israel is desert. Desert. No oil, no mines, no gold, nothing. Desert. Brain. Brain. Now I have bad news. The brain is on its way out. Why? Artificial intelligence, quantum computers are going to replace the brain. Even today, the children don't know even how much is 2 times 2 in America. They look at that, on the computer and they say, it's 4. I had master students in my school who did not know how much is 9 times 7. Said, just one moment, 9 times 7. Don't use the brain anymore. It's in the computer. It's an iPhone. So what is the future? From muscle to brain. Where now? Where now? The heart. The heart cannot be replaced. Future companies that are going to succeed are companies that have a heart, that provide an experience. It's applied today to marketing. Internet purchasing is taking over the world. You don't go to a store anymore. Buy it on the internet. Buy Amazon. How do you survive? Provide what the internet cannot provide. Heart, experience, caring. If we do not develop the heart, Nazi Germany was not a fluke in the history of mankind. It is our future. Smart, intelligent, highly educated, music, art, science. The Germans were very, very well educated. No heart. The future could be more Nazi Germany. Let's talk about the Balkan now. The problem with developing countries is they never developed well 2 vitamins, A and E. What is A? Order, systems, planning, organizing. Because they went from nomadic society to agricultural society. They did not go through the industrialization process. Many of the developing countries, the industrialization was done by the colonialists who did it. And they use the local people for the brain, not for the brain, for their muscles, cheap labor. And when the colonialists left, they left some laws and rules that were good for the colonialists, not for the country. And when you don't have genuine, your own systematization of how you want to run the country, a working bureaucracy, when you have a broken down bureaucracy, in order for it to work, you know what happens? Corruption. Because corruption enables the system to work. Kill corruption, and the system is not connected. It will be paralyzed. Developing countries did not develop the entrepreneurial thing. It was done, again, by the colonialists, by the rulings who ruled it. The Balkan was 500 years under the Turks. 500 years. They set up the rules. They set up the strategy. Or the Austro-Hungarians. That's why they're stuck in to be underdeveloped. And they're being used by the developing countries for cheap labor. Why did China get out of it? They put some law and order there, dictatorial, got the place organized, systematized. The entrepreneurial, they stole from the Americans. They take all the intellectual property, send the people to study in America, bring all the knowledge there. Now they can do it on their own. What does the Balkan need? I recommended to Montenegro, where I was consultant to the Prime Minister. I recommend the same thing to Branko Crnovikovsky. I recommend to all developing countries. Have a ministry for debureaucratization, whose role is to go through all the laws, through all the processes in all the ministries, and clean it up. Debureaucratize the system. And see how you can create rules of behavior that can close the gaps called corruption. In Hebrew, we have an expression: a hole in the fence invites the thief. There is a hole in the fence. Some people cannot resist, the temptation to grab it. Or a Macedonian expression, if I may: people that work with honey cannot help it to stick the finger and suck a little bit of the honey, if it's allowed, if they can do it in the hiding. And the system is so broken down that anybody can stick the finger and take some. You have to reorganize it. Ministry of Debureaucratization and Digitalization. Build systems, computerized systems, to make the system efficient. And number two, ministry for small businesses, to encourage businesses, education, for people to start learning how to manage bigger systems. The people the people in the Balkan have entrepreneurial spirit. Take a person from Macedonia, put him in America, he will build something. Believe me, he will build something. And not a small business, he will build it. Why? The system enables him. Our system is not built for building. And because of corruption, it's very difficult to build something in a successful way. Now let's talk about corruption for a second. We know from physics that energy is fixed. Let me finish with so that was the bureaucratization. Now talk about heart. You remember heart? Let's take Macedonia, for instance, my dear country. I still sing the songs, and I look forward to come and have a good Tavče na Gravče soon. Miss it. If you try to industrialize Macedonia, touch it in a baile loise, Macedonian expression. What are you trying to do? Do you have a competitive advantage? Industrialization? The Chinese are going to eat your breakfast. Not your lunch, your breakfast. Not the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Laos, Philippines. You don't have a competitive advantage. I'll tell you what the competitive advantage is. Make a lemonade out of a lemon. How? There is an advantage being underdeveloped. People, tourism, it's called ecotourism, are looking for the back, for the nature, to what used to be. I paid $1,000 a night in Mexico to sleep in a palapa. Not in a bed, in a palapa, this thing that go like this. No electricity, no telephone, no television. Eat the fish that they catch the day on fire, on the beach. $1,000 a day. Why? I wanted to run away from McDonald's, from Marriott, from Hilton's, back to nature. Clean up Ohrid Jezero. Back to nature. Charge a lot of money for people to go back to nature, back to what used to be. National food, support it. You're losing it. Where are the Bureks? McDonald's. How do you compete? You're just like any other Cincinnati. It's not Macedonia anymore. It's Cincinnati. Be Macedonian. I will pay people to wear the national dress. Tourism, $500 for a visa to come in the country. Interesting. Not cheap tourism. Ecotourism, high price. National music, national dress, national food. What are you selling? Heart. Experience. Love. That's your competitive advantage, not industrialization. Because you don't have a competitive advantage. Look for things that will make people cry and are willing to pay a lot of money to cry or laugh. Experience. Now, last thing, and I'm done. All systems have fixed energy. A human being has fixed energy, 24 hours a day. No more. There's no more. Even the most energetic person has only 24 hours, fixed time. We know that from physics. Now what happens? When a system disintegrates, a lot of that fixed energy is being used to still functioning the system. It's falling apart. A lot of energy goes not to make the system serve the market, but to enable the system to work. What does it mean? As a human being, if you're not together here, and you're not sure, and you're fighting yourself, and you're falling apart mentally, how successful are you going to be? All your energy goes to deal with your own, what is between your ears. Your eyes are not looking out. Your eyes are looking in. You don't even see the opportunities. In a company, if the partners are fighting, I don't care how good the product is. I don't care how big the market is. There is no energy to exploit the market. The company will go bankrupt. Same thing with a marriage. Same thing with a country. As we fight inside, we have no time to fight the outside, period. And that's called the Balkan. The Balkan. as a curse could have been a blessing. That's what Yugoslavia was. Bratstvo, jedinstvo. You go to a festival, Croatian dances, Bosnian dances, Macedonian music, beautiful diversity. We killed it. We destroyed it. Cheap, dirty, vulgar nationalism. All the energy is being wasted inside. You know this symbol. In the Middle East, it's called Khamsa. I know for sure we have it in the Balkan too. Go to church. The saints are standing like this. What is this symbolizing? Different figures together. This is a blessing. Be different together. And when we do this to somebody in his face, what are we telling him? It's a curse. Be different, not together. That is a Balkan. That is a Balkan. That is Bosnia. That is the problem of Macedonia. That's the problem of Serbia, which is shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. Tomorrow it's going to be the whole Serbia, Belgrade. Vojvodina will leave. Sanjak will leave. Bravo. Success. In order to be together, there must be mutual trust, mutual interest, and mutual respect for differences. And we don't have it in our Balkan culture. Until it is developed, the Balkan will remain underdeveloped. Thank you very much, and I wish all the success. I pray for my dear country I was born in, that I love with all my heart. Hvala lepa. Doviđenja, hvala vam sve.